When you think of a nuclear power plant, you're probably thinking of something that looks like this. But this small reactor is one of several atomic innovations getting a boost of new investment. It comes as the war in Ukraine is sparking a global energy crisis.
The energy crisis caused by Putin's war.
And as governments try to move away from high-polluting energy sources to meet emissions targets. In recent months, these countries in Europe have all announced plans to build or invest in new reactors, while the US has poured billions into developing new technology. But for nuclear energy to truly stage a comeback, the industry also needs to address its long-time troubles, from safety issues to being financially sustainable. So a new crop of startups are saying their design and technology can offer new solutions to old problems. First, we need to look at the issues that have dogged nuclear energy for decades to find out what this new technology is trying to solve. And that starts with World War II, when scientists harnessed atomic energy for nuclear weapons.
That's the atomic bomb exploding at Nagasaki.
After the war was over, the US government wanted to usher in safer ways to use the energy source.
President Eisenhower wanted to alleviate the concerns and the fears that people had about nuclear technology by attempting to channel nuclear energy into peaceful uses.
So governments and companies turned to commercial projects, including a nuclear-powered concept for a family sedan. That never came to fruition, but large power plants popped up across the country. Starting in the early 60s, dissent began to build as communities became unhappy about these large structures being constructed in their backyards.
Those concerns, they resulted in local opposition, some lawsuits, siting disputes around the construction of new power plants. Those added to the cost of building the power plants.
Then an accident in 1979 grabbed the nation's attention. A partial meltdown of the 3 Mile Island reactor in Pennsylvania spurred a new wave of nuclear skepticism and angered residents of the town.
Would the President of the United States bring his family and sleep here, right here in this town? No, he won't.
Other accidents around the world followed. In 1986, a radioactive plume was sent across Europe following a lapse at the Chernobyl power plant in the former Soviet Union. That led to high exposure to radiation linked to long-term health conditions, including leukemia. And in 2011, meltdowns occurred at a plant in Fukushima, Japan, following an earthquake and subsequent tsunami. Those safety issues pushed the US to tighten its regulations and led to plant closures in Germany. Despite this history, the nuclear industry has kept pushing to get funding and expand, and the US government has stepped in to support a new generation of advanced reactors. These startups, including Terra Power, which is backed by Bill Gates, are offering different plans, from using sodium to being mobile. But they're all trying to prove the same thing, that they can be the future of the nuclear industry. One of them is called NuScale, and it says its design can help tackle many of the industry's issues with this small modular reactor, which has been approved by US regulators.
It is a simpler design with much fewer components.
Dr. Jose Reyes is the Chief Technology Officer at NuScale, who co-founded the company over a decade ago.
So instead of the large containment domes that you've seen in the past, we have a very small containment that houses our reactor.
Reactors need to withstand strong forces to stop the release of radioactive material. NuScale's plant will house small reactors inside vessels like these, rather than housing a large reactor in a containment dome like this one. The company says its smaller size helps reduce risk during the fission process, because its module can withstand pressures 15 times greater than traditional reactors. NuScale says other accidents can be mitigated by its design. In an extreme event such as an earthquake, its reactor can shut down independently, while most traditional reactors require generator power to switch off critical pumps and valves.
For the worst case conditions, the reactors will shut themselves down without any operator action and without the need to add water to keep it cooled for an unlimited period of time.
NuScale's smaller size is also key to saving money on construction. Traditionally, parts are custom-made on-site by specialists. For instance, 2 new units at the Vogtle plant in Georgia are priced at $30 billion, with the first expected to take more than 10 years to build. But NuScale uses an assembly line model that helps to standardize the process. So even though the company has yet to finish building a plant, it estimates it'll take about 3 to 5 years to build at a cost of around $3 billion.
Once the modules are fabricated, they can be shipped by truck, rail, or barge to the site, a completed site, and then you install those modules.
However, studies highlight potential hurdles linked to its size. One of them found that even with multiple modules, NuScale's design produces relatively small amounts of power compared to the current nuclear reactor fleet. That could mean energy from its plants would be more expensive to buy. This chart shows that power from NuScale's plant would cost almost twice as much as the projected cost of renewable energy in the future. While a nuclear plant that addresses all the safety issues and cost concerns has yet to go online, some of the new generation reactors have begun construction. In 2021, Terra Power announced it had chosen Wyoming for its reactor, and that it'll bring on workers from a local coal-fired power plant scheduled to close. NuScale says its first plant in Idaho will be completed in 2029, and the grand opening of that will be one of the first real tests to put the technology into practice.